Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mindset Monday. Today is the 30th of September, 2024, the last day of September. I hope you had a spectacular month. And for those who celebrated a birthday in September, whether it's the 1st or the 30th, happy birthday to you. I know for the most part, a lot of persons, once they're born in that month, they celebrate the entire month for their birthday. So, happy birthday to all the September born. Today is another spectacular day we have, and we are still in the series of Prepare for Your Wealth. We are also looking at tax planning, and we spoke several weeks about how to prepare for your wealth, how to make sure that all the documents are together, that we don't wait for the most part, Canada, USA, UK. We don't wait until January 31st when we get our W 2s. Not sure what it is called in other countries, but we make sure we plan, we put things together so we are not scurrying at the time when we need to, or wait until April 14th to run to your tax professional to file your return. But we are preparing long before it's time so we can maximize those deductions. And also, we can identify ways that we can either take money or save some in order to balance those tax liabilities. It's important when we prepare because it takes the stress a notch down. The more prepared we are, the less stressed we are because we know if something goes sideways, we can pivot right away and we are in a better position, a better mindset to do what we need to do at any time. Today, we have a wonderful young lady. This is the first time she's joining us on our program, and she'll be sharing with us a little bit on her perspective as to how to prepare for wealth. And this beautiful young lady was introduced to me by Dean Harvey, Minister Dean Harvey from my church, Oneness Rehoboth. She resides in Jamaica. And I'm so happy to introduce to you Sheryl McFarlane-Khouri. Hi, Cheryl, how are you?
Good evening. Nice to be on your program, Miriam. Nice for you to having me, and I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Wonderful. It's such a pleasure having you, and I'm so excited to for you to share on this program and looking forward to for my audience to learn more about who you are.
Thank
Now, I rather for Cheryl to share with me a little bit about herself. So, Cheryl, why don't you share a little bit about yourself and then we can take it further as the program progresses.
thank you, and thank you again for having me. So, of course, yeah, we can come from the point of Christianity. I am a Christian. I am a mother of two. I am a newly minted financial advisor, and I am somebody who love people, love sharing, love to help. So in whatever way I can use the talent that God has given to me, I use it to assist persons. In a nutshell.
Awesome. She loves people, she loves to share, and the essence of us being on this program, the essence of starting this program is actually share, loving to share. We are humanitarian, so whatever to share. So I'm happy that you are on that line. That's so spectacular. Now, I know that you are passionate about what you do, and I'm just gonna ask you just introduce yourself and tell us about your journey and how you became a financial advisor.
Okay. That is a story in itself. Um, I have a passion for figures, and I should say, persons my age and they're probably a little older, we started out sometimes not knowing exactly what it is that we really wanted to do, and so we find ourselves just, going from career to career, not really settling. But God knows best, so I started out in administration, then I felt stuck after several years, and I know I'm somebody who love to grow. I love to have new knowledge and all of that. So I felt stuck after a few years, and so I decided to make myself more marketable. I went and I did my master's in accounting, started working in accounting, and after a few years in accounting, I was saying, I'm not certain. I love figures, but I know that there are more in me. I wanted to do more. I wanted to be able to liaise more with persons instead of just being in a back office. I wanted to be able to touch the lives of persons more. So of course I went to my daddy, Father God, and I asked him to just direct me, to instruct me. There are a lot of things would have happened along the way, but he did hear and he answered, and he brought me into the field of being a financial advisor. And I know that this is a divine calling.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. It's important when you know when you're pursuing something and you get the nudge that yeah, this is where I belong. And so you're able to serve in that area and give of your best because you know that where you are, you're passionate about it and you're also there because of divine direction. Wonderful, wonderful.
Okay.
I know you have much more to share about that. So do you want to go there or do you want me to go to the next question?
I could go further. I could go further because, as I said, this is a story in a story. So I I had several near-death experience throughout my life. The latter being in 2019, I had a drowning experience. That is right after I completed my master's, and that kind of caused me to just step back a little. Because when I came back, God restored me. Because the devil would have had it that I would have died, but God said no. So when God say, even when the devil say yes and God say no, then no is the answer. And so I started to just at that point in time just to meet with God regularly. And that's when I actually ventured in accounting, but I didn't feel that that's where I was supposed to be in terms of sitting behind the scene. I know I have a story to share, and I wanted to do something that would allow me to earn a decent bread and also to touch the lives of persons, to share my experience, to witness to whomever I can witness to, and to just, in whatever way God would instruct me, to enrich the life of persons. And I believe that this is a perfect medium for me to do that. In Before I actually went into being a financial advisor, I normally do that in my spare time, advising friends and families and co-workers along over the years in terms of investments, um, you know, investment opportunities and whatever instruments are on the market that I believe were good investment tools. And I'm now doing this as a career path. I used to do it just along the way, but now I'm doing it as a career path.
Wonderful, wonderful. Just commenting on what you said. You had a near death experience, drowning, and the fact that God restored your life, it's an indication that your purpose is not yet completed. And the lives that you need to touch, you haven't touched them. And of course, if you had gone, you wouldn't have met Miriam. So I'm happy that I'm a part of the connection that God has prepared for you to touch lives.
Definitely.
That's wonderful. And I'm giving God thanks that you are alive to see this day. As is it Mordecai said to Esther, would it be that, so I'm saying that to you now, that you are alive for such a time as this? And
Indeed.
no matter where we are in life, no matter what path we take, our ultimate goal is to use our lives to touch others, to use our lives as a vehicle that God can speak through, use our lives as ambassadors, because that's what we're here for, ambassadors. So our journey may take us different places, but we realize that the ultimate thing is whatever you do, as the Bible talk about, occupy till I come, and another statement, bloom where you're planted. So you were sent back here to bloom so that God can get the glory out of your life, whether it's finance, whether it's a carpenter for others who are out there, every aspect of life. And I always use this quote um, from one of my favorite writers, Miles Monroe. He said that we are created to operate in an era of gifting, and we all are here to complement each other. So your area, we you can have two financial advisors, but there's a niche for you. The persons who you are able to meet with and deal with is different from the person, another financial advisor, because everyone has a niche, even in the same industry. So kudos to you. I'm so happy that you allow God to direct your life after He has restored you to health and wholeness, that I can see the better, best version of you today.
Definitely.
Okay. So
Yeah.
my next question is, I'm excited. I'm excited. So my next question is, what are the initial steps someone should take when they begin to think about building their wealth? Because as a financial advisor, your little steps will, assist us. So what can you say are
Okay.
some initial steps in
Okay.
your
So
own
the
work?
first thing, the very first thing is you start very young. You don't think of yourself as being too young. As long as you start to understand the concept of money, then it should be inculcated in you. And obviously, that is going to come from the home. So, parents, caregivers, older siblings should always speak to the charges or the words in terms of the value of money. Um, Information is ripe now. It's not back in the day when there was just not much information. Information is right now. So the earlier children are taught the value of money and the importance of savings, then it will develop in them an appetite to save and to be independent. And so, growing up back in my days and probably yours, we used to have piggy banks and those are the things, where you put your little coins in and so on. I'm not certain if that is around now, but we know that there, as I said before, there are more information out there to be passed on that can be spoken in a very simplistic way for the very young to understand. And so the first thing is really knowledge and to know, and for persons who are in the know to pass on that information. Also, when you become older and you start to think about what it is that you want in life and where you want to be, you set career goals. You set goals for yourself and you set financial goals for yourself. And so when you assess yourself, you figure out what is the financial need that I have, what is the goal. It could be for college education, it could be to buy a house, it could be you want to start to do some investing. So when you look into yourself and you analyze what it is that you need, then you will determine the monetary value that is going to require for you to achieve those goals and the time frame in which you're gonna need to achieve that financial value to meet those goals or those needs that you have. And so all of that comes with preparation, because you don't sit down and say, okay, I know that I want to live in Beverly Hills, and you figure it's going to drop from the sky. No, you have to start doing some planning, some amount of planning, and the earlier you start, it's the better. So after you have planned, after you have set your goals, then you will now determine what is it that you need to meet those goals. So if it is that you need to start a budget better, if you don't think you're responsibly enough to do a decent budget each month, then you get a financial advisor or you get someone in the know who can sit with you and plan a proper budget. Because sometimes we spend vicarious, we spend and we think that we are buying what we need. But when you check it and you look back on your expenditure on a monthly basis, you realize that some of these spendings are not necessary. So when you find the fat and you cut the fat, then you will now have a leaner budget, and then you'll be able to see more disposable income for budgeting. And those are some ways you can look into. Get a financial advisor, get someone to assist you in planning or in doing a budget. You can think about educating yourself, going back to school to make yourself more marketable, so that you can get the job, that lucrative job that you want, that will pay you what you think you need to achieve your financial goal. You can invest in assets that will appreciate over time. And so by the time you're ready to buy that house or go to college or whatever that goal is, then you will have adequate funds to do same.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Guest viewers, for those who will be watching this after the watching this on the replay, this beautiful young lady is from Jamaica. So I know that not only US or Canada, because a lot of my programs, you may see that it's centered around Canada or the US, but you have a Jamaican lady who is in the know who can help you with these decisions. And as we go on, later down, I will give you her information that you can connect with her and she can help you, fellow Jamaicans. And for those who are overseas and have families in Jamaica, when her information is given, you can also access it to give to those of your family, your friends who you want to help, because the program is to help, to allow us to be in the know so we can make informed decisions. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm happy about what I'm hearing so far. Now, Uh, can this has to do with life insurance and wealth planning. Can you explain how life insurance can be a critical component in wealth planning? And what are the different type of life insurance? Anyway, let me just, because what I know, different life insurances for different people. So this one may not need to be answered here, because I know it's when you sit with the person, then you know what their specific needs are. So let me just go back to the first question. What can you explain how life insurance can be a critical component of wealth planning?
Okay. And I'll start out by saying this, as I was one of those persons. The notional person, just from my experience, the notional person out there really do not see the value of life insurance, unfortunately, until it's too late. We tend to believe that it's for older persons, or it's really just to bury somebody. We don't see it as wealth creation. And that's really a misconception, and it is sad, because it's life insurance now is not just something that you get when you're older, but it's a necessity. It's a necessity of life. We would have seen a lot of things being playing out in society now, where we see where life insurance is crucial. And so you start very early. As with everything, the earlier you start, the better. In most things, let me not say everything. In most things, one that's gonna add value to your life. The earlier you start, the better. Because life insurance, a good life insurance policy is predicated on your age, your health, and your income. And even though we know that sickness happens to anybody, it comes on at any, could be from birth. But we take it that in most cases, the younger you are, the more better or the more healthy you are. And so the less risk and liability you would become to whatever company that you're buying that insurance policy from. And you will find that it will work in your benefit because the premiums are would be lower, and certain medical that you might have to do at a later age. When in your early stage you might not have to do those medical, so you find that the red tape and all of that behind the scene things is also less. But in terms of building wealth, you can life insurance can be used to, it's an intangible asset. It's not something that you can see, but it is indeed an asset. It gives you peace of mind. It gives you the insured person, especially if you are the breadwinner and you have a family. It gives you peace of mind to know that you have a decent policy, and your family would be well taken care of if it is that you should pass, and you're not leaving them with the burden to for final expenses and to pay whatever bills or whatever debt you might have outstanding, because the policy now will substitute. It will now become that income for the family if it is set up in such a way. So the wife or the husband, in whichever way it works, and the children can at least, even though they will might be sad that they are losing their loved ones, but at least even in that minuscule part, the burden, the financial burden, knowing that okay, they don't have this to worry about because it was well set. It was set in a way where there are funds. The death benefit, it can support the family, it can pay the bills, it can pay the estate duties, it can do all of that. And so that the peace of mind that your mind persons don't value that, but really and truly, when you're growing up, and I think people still say that peace of mind, they say, is better than any pocket money. And so
Mm-hmm.
once it gives that peace of mind, and you can rest assured even in that regard. Persons life insurance can be used as collateral. So you want to um, take out a mortgage, you have a decent policy, you can present that to any lending institution. Once your policy is up to date, you can present that to any lending institution, and especially if it's a high value policy, right? You can present that to any lending institution, and I can guarantee you that once you know you are not somebody that is not in good standing, you will get that loan. Life insurance, or let me not just say life insurance, because you also have insurance that have an investment component. So you have the life insurance and then you have the investment component. So if you're in thinking about building wealth and you started very early, then you can see how your investments grow over time, because these funds that you invest are now invested in instruments that grows interest, and all of that. So you will see where your wealth is being increased. The more you pay your premium, the more you keep your policy up to date, prevent it from lapse, because then that's where persons don't figure that insurance, is quote unquote thief. And so you hear that from time to time, and it's not beneficial because they didn't maintain the policy. I don't know if they didn't have a good advisor, but the policy lapsed. And unfortunately, it's when they know is in a position that they needed the insurance, they realize that there's nothing there because the policy lapsed. So we, as financial advisors as well, we do have a job to do in terms of keeping up to date with our clients and keeping them up to date on their policy and whatever change, has taken place, and whatever they need to do to ensure that their policy is up and running and is sufficient for whatever life eventualities that may happen down the road. You can use insurance for, retirement, youth fund, university for yourself, or in most cases for your children. It can be a family income. There are various things that insurances can be used for, and in terms of wealth creation, it should be considered as uh, one of the best tool and the best vehicle to for wealth creation. I can tell you that, and I'm talking because it's the truth. Insurance is one of the cheapest collateral that you have out there. So you take out an insurance policy, a 10 million, a $20 million insurance policy, and your premium for the month in Jamaican terms. I remember now we're in different. So when I say $10,000, it might sound a lot to some persons, but in Jamaica, $10,000 is not a lot, unfortunately. And so you have a $20 million policy for which you're paying premium of $10,000 monthly. That's very cheap in our Jamaican terms. There's nowhere else where you can say you're investing and you're putting in that little bit of money, and then that amount of money will be yours in the bank and other financial institution. Whatever you put in, that is what you get. So, and for if for whatever reason you need to pull the funds, or if somebody died, or if the owner of the account died and they want the funds to do the final expenses and so on. Whatever is in that account is what you're gonna get. Now with the insurance policy, if and I dare say this, if you bought the policy today and unfortunately you should die tomorrow and the policy was approved before you die, if it was $100 million policy you bought and you only paid one premium and the policy was approved and unfortunately you would have died the following day or just shortly thereafter, that $100 million would have to go to the beneficiary. It would have to be paid out to the beneficiary. Now, there is no other investment out there that you can say just for one deposit, you get all of this. There's no other. And so, everyone should really consider insurance as a viable investment option.
Consider insurance as a viable investment tool in order to help you create wealth. And as Cheryl, as you rightly said, Cheryl, putting money in a savings account will not yield that much. And just so we're reminded that using a life insurance can be a saving tool, because with a whole life policy, you will have cash value. Now, I know there are some policies that when you take the cash value, it becomes a loan, so you have to pay it back. However, you will be benefited much more when cash value is built on your policy. I know for the most part, we should have, uh, we call it rainy day money, or emergency funds in your savings account. If you are not able to have both, it's good to have a life insurance policy, because then you'll know the total amount will be paid to you if you get sick, because there most policies have a living benefit attached to it, or if I should pass. Say, for instance, I'm in Jamaica and I should pass, my beneficiary will get those funds. So, powerful information that Cheryl is sharing. So, it's not only US, Canada, UK, the Caribbean, and specifically, we're talking about Jamaica today. You have the same information that you can prepare yourself, that you don't fall victim, or your family falling victim of lack of funds when something becomes critical. Powerful information. Thank you so much.
And if I should
And
just add, because I think
sure.
I missed it as well, just as I hear you use the word critical. So, the persons might think insurance is just okay when somebody is deceased and the beneficiaries know reap whatever the policy is worth. But you also have living benefits from insurance, and so that you can buy these policies as well, or you can even add some of them as a rider. And I don't want to speak too wide where persons not understand it, but you can have a critical illness plan that, with the rise of non-communicable diseases now, with the heart problems and the diabetes and the hypertension and the stroke and all of that, where if you are supposed to be hospitalized for whatever reason, if you're supposed to be diagnosed with one of these illnesses that the policy covers, because you would have to buy that particular policy. And if you're supposed to be diagnosed after you've bought the policy with one of those, then you would get that money upfront as well. So you have living benefits. So outside of the savings component and outside of the final expenses, you also have that whatever policy you'd have bought, whatever value you would have bought for the critical illness, that is now paid over to you to offset whatever the medical bill is.
Wonderful, wonderful. You hear, Jamaicans? You have information. Wonderful. So, as we move along to ask Cheryl some important questions, uh, what unique tax considerations should Jamaicans keep in mind when planning their finances?
Okay. So we know that tax is essential to most countries, if not all countries. That this is all the government in most cases where they get money in their coffers to do um, whatever they do within the country. And so we know tax is essential. However, as an individual savings, there are instruments that you can invest in to minimize the amount of tax that you pay, because you know that the more tax you pay, the less disposable income that you will have to invest. And so, a prudent and a shrewd investor would ensure they read, would ensure they know the products that are on the market, and that would give them the best return and the best growth and all of that. And so, if they are not themselves knowledgeable, they speak with their broker, they speak with their agent, they speak with their financial advisor to advise them on the best instruments that they can invest in that would afford them paying little to no tax. So there are instruments out there, I might not be able to say on this line now, that if you invest a particular amount in those instruments, you pay little or no tax. And so this is not tax evasion now, but tax avoidance, which is really legal. So this is just avoiding you paying insurmountable tax. Also, you need to put your money away when you invest it. You don't invest it today and then next month you're gone for it, because that is going to attract all sorts of, not just tax, but all sorts of expenses that you would incur
Mhm.
for breaking that investment too early. And hence, you put it, you know that you have that mindset that you are saving for a rainy day, you're investing for the long haul. And so, you have this $100,000, you can put it away without touching it. You do that. Let it stay and let it grow the interest and let it work for you. Let your money work for you. You don't run go back for it, then you're just gonna be penalized all over. And then you say, okay, it didn't work out. So you speak with your financial advisor on the best instruments that you pay, because in Jamaica we are really taxed at source. Most For the most part, we are taxed at source. And so you might find persons are not too au fait with the tax laws out here in Jamaica. So it's best to speak to someone that is in the know, someone that is in the field, who can advise you of the best investments. It's good when you can invest in real estate, some long-term growth fund, equity, real estate, and so on. You pay less tax in those regards than when you invest in short-term instruments as well.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. Okay. Um, I think you answered this question in your deliberation. How can life insurance be used as a tool to effectively, um, with effective planning? You actually answered it when you share the different instruments. So I won't go over that question. So you actually jumped in. That's powerful. Wonderful. You see, it's there's so much to learn, and we are not giving you information as a one size fits all. Cheryl and I, we're sharing information. So when her details is dropped in the chat, you can see it. So you can speak with her directly, and then she can advise you. She can share with you based on your personal situation, and you can get better information. So we're just sharing so it can whet your appetite to get the details you need to make your informed decision.
Definitely.
Okay, now what practical strategies do you recommend for someone looking to build and protect wealth through life insurance? And of course, it's a tool of effective tax planning too. So, what practical strategies?
I'm going to repeat something that I said earlier. We should start early. When
Start
if you want,
now.
yes, right, and not because you didn't start when you're in your 20s mean that okay, I can't start. You start now, and you are determined and deliberate about what it is you're doing. For one, we can't stress this enough. You don't get excited at the beginning and you said, oh, I have a life insurance policy and it will do all of this thing for me. And tomorrow or the next year, you will lose that enthusiasm and you will cause the policy, a very good policy, to lapse. Now remember, nobody knows what tomorrow may bring. There is a situation now of someone who in very recently where a GoFundMe is now being created to assist or offset whatever medical, and it's a prominent person in Jamaica, from Jamaica, to all that is now being incurred. And so while we empathize empathize with the individual and so on, it should cause one to think that it can happen to anyone. It can happen to anyone. And would you want a GoFundMe to be now taking care of your bills? Understand? So you start now, wherever you are now. If you have not um, to take out a life insurance policy, you do it now. It will give you the peace of mind to know that you're not leaving the burden on anyone else. You're not going out there now for everyone to know your situation that, oh, I'm not able to take care of my expenses. You are securing your family as well to know that if you should pass, there's something in place for them. The wife is not now out there begging, or the husband is not now out working 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jobs to make ends meet. Children not dropping out of college because you did set that foundation. So I can't say a lot of highfalutin things, but I can will just make it very simple. You start now, see the value in life insurance. It's not for old persons. It's not just to use as burying a funeral expenses. Somebody die. Oh, then they have insurance. How much it costs? I mean, how much is the funeral package or insurance? No, it is way more than that. As I said
Mhm.
prior, life insurance and insurance in general, it is now a necessity of life. And I really do believe, and I might be going off on a tangent a little bit, but I really
Mhm.
do believe that these are practical everyday life situation. And so these should not, it shouldn't be that when one goes out in the working world, then they are now being exposed to this when their mind was already being bombarded with so many things that you telling them now when they're out there about insurance, it go in one ears and it come through the other. I think this should be taught in school. I believe that there are many things that are being taught in school that you don't practice it out there. It's probably not practicable for your everyday life. So things like these that are very practicable for your everyday life, that is important to a decent, good existence, should be taught. And so for whomever is hearing me now, if you have not yet opened an insurance policy, seek to do so. Seek a financial advisor. Seek someone who can direct you properly, and you don't just go open any policy. You open one that will best suit your need and your family's need.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I like analogies. And I'm going to use this analogy. Life insurance for your family is like securing your children, your wife, your husband in a good car. You are going somewhere, you don't actually leave the doors open. You make sure that your family is securely fastened, a child is securely fastened in that car seat. The person in the front, you make sure that the front door is closed. You make sure that all the doors are closed, and then you get on your way. So life insurance is like securing your family in a car, securing your family in a house. And as we talk about life insurance, as we talk about insurance in general for tax planning, we are looking at, you secure your house, you make sure that windows and doors are there. And not only that, you also buy insurance to protect you from the eventuality of a disaster, right?
Definitely so.
So, so it is important, as Cheryl is sharing, my fellow Jamaicans here and abroad, you can help to protect your family, you can help to secure, you can help to prepare that they it is less stressful, because stress is one of the things that destroys our joy, our happiness. Stress will pull on you. There's some stress that is good, but stress that is caused from lack of funds, lack of knowing what is going to happen to your family, that can be alleviated. As you rightly said, if an insurance policy is in place and someone gets sick, yes, you're sad, but you are less sad because you have something to, fall back on. Someone dies, you are sad, but you will be in a worse position if funds are not available for final expenses or to assist family when they are in need. So it's valuable information. Start now. That's my word. NOW. Awesome. And you alluded to misconceptions, but can you just expand a little bit more? What are some common misconceptions people have about insurance and its role in wealth planning? As you alluded to earlier, we think that it was just for old people, or it doesn't make sense, you know.
Okay. So, so life insurance is a means of growing wealth, and you mentioned the word misconception. We need to move away from life insurance just being something for burial, for funeral expense, or for final expenses. No, as I said earlier, life insurance is one of the cheapest collateral that you have out there. It's one of the cheapest collaterals. And for my young persons on this line, you want to buy your house in the next how many years? You might not have all the funds. I'm not certain about your credit status, but if you have a up-to-date life insurance policy that is able to be used as a collateral, you present that, as I said, prior to any any lending agency, then I'm almost want to say I can guarantee you 100% that you will get that loan. And as I said before, life insurance is the cheapest collateral that you have out there. Life insurance can also be used as a family income. It is used as a retirement plan. It is used for well, not life insurance in this regard, but you can take out insurance for your children's college
Mhm.
fund. There are instruments on the market, insurance instruments on the market that once you buy it, especially when the child is young, by the time it is college bound, reach that age, then we have instruments out there now. By the time the child reached 18 years old, so if the child was, if the policy was purchased before the child is 10, and I'm speaking specifically to a particular institution, if the policy was purchased before the child reached the age of 10, by the time the child reached age 18, then that policy, whatever you would have purchased, would have been doubled. There's also investment component to that policy. So you are reaping benefits all over. You bought a say a $6 million policy that when the child was 9, by the time the child reached 18, it doubles to $12 million. And I'm talking Jamaican money. Bear with me. I'm talking about Jamaican money. It doubles to $12 million. No, it doesn't matter where you are. There's no other investments that you can be putting in just a few $1,000s per month, and within a few years it doubles. You earn $6 million on it, and it is guaranteed. So We need to move away from the misconception that life insurance is really just, as I said before, for old people and for funeral expense. Life insurance is used to build wealth. It's used to mitigate against the erosion, and I'm going to use this word, in our economy. So it is used to offset estate duties, to cover estate duties and all of that. So someone dies and there are properties involved and you had a decent life insurance policy, then the beneficiaries, whatever the death benefit is, that is us can be used on to cover those estate duties, the transfer costs and all of that. The life insurance policy is used to do that. So you do, I know of a case now where similar situation, and it is in the final stages, and the lawyer's fee is $4 million. Now, the beneficiaries don't have that. If there was a proper insurance policy in play, it could have been used to offset that. And whatever is needed to wrap up would have been wrapped up. But it can't be wrapped up as yet because that is still outstanding. And so we need to have a proper education, educational campaign about the value of having life insurance, the value of having insurance. Insurance can be used as a means of investment. I'm just reiterating, can be used as a means of investing because you have whole life insurance and you have those insurance with the savings in component to it, and so you not you are covered. You have protection because whatever you're covered for, that is the protection. And then it also allows you to invest. So while you're being protected for your final, in terms of final expenses, you also have living benefits in terms of your investments. These investments are invested in funds that grow decent interest, and you have a say in what funds you are investing in. So you can go in, sit with the whomever, and you tell them, okay, I need 50% of whatever fund to be invested, or 51% to be invested in these long-term instruments, which now you will pay little to no tax. They will let you know which funds are of such that would afford you that not to pay any tax or little to no tax. If you want to have a diversified portfolio, you can tell them, okay, you want the lion's share of your investment to be in these instruments, and because you want to diversify, you will also spread it among these other. So should in case one industry should collapse, your portfolio will not collapse because it's balanced out with various mixtures. And so you see where insurance is not just for the dead, insurance is not just for old people, it is for young people too. To you invest, you grow your wealth, you want to retire early, you start from early, and when you can retire at 50, you're not going to 65, you can retire at 50 or whatever that age is, because you had set things in motion and you were prudent and you were shrewd and you didn't allow your policy to lapse, because that's something we need to stress as well. Don't allow your policy to lapse. Don't look at it and say, I am paying this amount every month, every month, every month, and I'm not seeing anything. No, a day is gonna come when, because we're not gonna be here forever, none of us. A day is gonna come when money is gonna be needed for final expenses. Money is gonna be needed now to take care of your loved ones, take care of your children. And I must say this to young people. In my talking to young people now, one of the things I get from them is that they don't need a life insurance policy because they don't have any children and all of these things. But what I say to them, do you plan to have a family anytime in the future? And in most cases, the answer is yes. So I'm saying then the best time to start is now. So you start to build wealth from now. You don't start when you have the mortgage and you have the school fees and you have all sorts of things on you now. You start from now when you're a little bit freer, when you have a little more disposable income. You start to build your wealth. And as your needs grow, then you top up. You top up. So you don't have to take out that $40 million policy now. You can take out something within your means, within your budget. Then when you start to gain more responsibility and your wealth start to grow, because I'm not expecting that you're going to stay at one level forever. You're going to grow, you're going to move up, your income is going to increase, and so your insurance will increase it along the way, because then you have more responsibility to take care of. And I'm certain all of us on this line would want to know that when that time comes, we have set things in motion where our family, our children, even our charity, but some of us are very philanthropic. So we have charities to which we donate to. So our charities as well will benefit because of what we would have set in motion now from our life insurance.
Awesome. Powerful. Powerful. I hear you speak about something in regard to estate duties. Now, this this is something very important as she's talking about setting up for wealth. And this also has to coupled with tax planning. If you have this life insurance and you put things in place, then you will not have to pay a lot of taxes to the government when you have to do the transfer, because the life insurance will take care of that, and life insurance is tax free. So it's
Definitely,
important whether you're in the US. Now we're talking about Jamaica. Get that go and sit with your tax advi your financial advisor, and we will be giving you Cheryl's information in just a few, so that you can connect with her and she can direct you in the right way, specifically to your individual needs. So this is information that you need to take advantage of. The, 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 the phrase is knowledge is power, but I will say it further, applied knowledge is power. So you get this information, we're just whetting your appetite, go sit with her, you will get specific information as it pertains to your personal situation. And so now I'm going to ask, how can listeners get in touch with you?
okay, so the best way to get in touch is through my email, McFarlane Cheryl 0222 at gmail.com, or it is McFarlane at yahoo.com. So the first one, sorry, I misspoke. The first one is mcheryl0222 at gmail.com. So that is mcheryl0222 at gmail.com, or McFarlane at yahoo.com.
Awesome. And of course, that will be put in the chat. So anyone viewing, they can see it. And it will also be on the YouTube channel so they can connect with you. This is powerful information that Cheryl has shared. And for those who are in the US, these are series that has been going on for a little bit. But you can also get information, specific information for Jamaica. Make sure you connect, you send your family, friends, you know, acquaintance to Cheryl so she can direct them in the right way and they can be prepared for the eventuality, whether it is in life that they need a little bit little money and they can draw from their insurance, or it's sickness and they need to get that money in order to pay some medical bills, or in death, God forbid, because we all have to go, because we are spirit beings, but we are now occupying time in this body. So when it's time to transition, we will not leave behind huge debt, and our families have to either do GoFundMe or whatever other facilities that are there to assist. Now, Cheryl, any final word for our viewers?
I just saw a comment from one of your viewers, and I am gonna say it because in my talking I didn't mention this as well. Life insurance, when you have a life insurance policy and you have your beneficiary, that will supersede whatever will. So if you name the beneficiary on your policy, whatever policy you have, then that's benefit. Then then you will not need an executor in that regard. If that's your only beneficiary, you'll not need an executor of that particular policy, because whomever you have as your beneficiary will now, it will supersede whatever would have been there as a will for an executor to, do whatever executors does. So life insurance policy is very dynamic. It's very dynamic, and I would like for persons who are not very much au fait with it to just start to do some reading, reach out to whomever you can reach out to, your financial advisor, even a broker, just to get more information. But it is a necessity of life now. And if you have not yet opened the policy, then you can start now. It's not too late.
Start now. Thank you so
Now,
much, Cheryl. I see so many comments in the chat. Thank you so much for viewing, and I hope that you will pass this information on to your family, your friends, those who are here, those who have family in Jamaica, that Cheryl can assist them in directing them in the right way. Her email address is in the chat so you can connect with her. This is such a powerful time, Cheryl. Thank you for sharing with us your expertise, and thanking you for allowing God to direct you in this way so you can share what God has given. As I always say, being a good steward of what God has invested in you, you are able to give back. And in the end, he will say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. So you are humanitarian. And as I see Jennifer Cantanda, she said, we are family. It's good that you have that family vibe, that family intuition, and you will definitely go places because you're not only thinking of yourself, but you're thinking of others. Ivy Harvey said, very informative presentation, Lady Cheryl. Thank you, Queen Miriam. And there are so many different comments that's going on. This going so fast that I wasn't able to read all of it. Robert's family said, yes, Jen, life insurance no longer death benefits only. Now with living benefits, lifestyle insurance in case of anything. It is wonderful to know that we have these instruments and we can share them with everyone that we come in contact with, that they can also be prepared per adventure. We save for rainy day, and now we have other instruments that we can save for rainy day. Cheryl, it's such a pleasure having you, and we're looking forward to seeing you at some other time as we share and as we create the atmosphere that our friends, family, and acquaintance can get the knowledge they need in order to make valuable decisions. Viewers,
thank you
thank
so much.
you. Thank you for watching, and for those who will be watching this on the replay. If you have comments, let me know. And please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get information you need in order to make your decisions. This is Miriam Edwards for another episode of Mindset Monday.
Nice. Thanks for having me. My story, God's glory. Wow.